Isn't it great to see Africans supporting Africans in this way and helping them get a foot up into the international scene? Right now, that does conclude our formal presentations for today, but please don't go anywhere because we still have some great things happening this evening. First up is the Nordic Game Discovery Contest. We have 3 contestants from across Africa being judged by 3 judges from across the globe. Jacob from Nordic Game, as always, will be up to his old tricks to entertain us. And after that, we have a parallel event happening in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, that will cross broadcast between 2 events at the same time. We are living in a crazy, futuristic world.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nordic Game Discovery Contest. My name is Jacob Rees, and I am from Denmark, working with a Nordic conference and also this Discovery Contest. Now, a couple of few days ago, we concluded the Discovery Contest season 4 with a big grand finals in Sweden at our conference there. And now, just a few days after, we are ready again. Now it's time for Nordic Game Discovery Contest Season 5. Can you believe it? I know I can. But for those of you who doesn't know what the Nordic Game Discovery Contest is, I've created a little video just to give you some background. So let's take a look at that now. Like now. Just a minute. Now. What the fuck?
You're a developer because you love games. Your goal is to create truly innovative and interesting experiences. To do that, you constantly have to learn and adapt and make decisions every single day. It's risky and scary, but also exhilarating. The freedom to create, working with like-minded people. The long days, sleepless nights. The leaps of faith, the pride in what you do. There are ups, the moment you first playtest it, the reaction of the first who tries it out. There are also many downs, but when you fail, you learn that your game needs to be discovered for more people to know it exists. So you enter the Discovery Contest and a new journey begins. Battling on stage, pitching your game, first at home, then abroad. With and against other gifted developers from all over the world, making new business connections, even friendships, learning how to pitch, sell, connect, and evolve. Getting your game out there, that's what it's all about. Nordic Game Discovery Contest.
Yeah, so that was the Nordic Game Discovery Contest. A little bit of a look into what it used to be, especially the part with the going on stage all over the world. Yeah, we are obviously prohibited to do that in the current climate. But instead, obviously, we took the technology and we bended it and made the contents into a digital format. And so it was possible to conclude last season, but more important for this occasion, we are also able to be part of Africa Games Week with the first qualifier of the 5th season of the Discovery Contest. I don't know about you, but I am so happy to be here. I'm not happy not to be there, but I'm happy to. Yeah, you get what I mean, right? So, with no further ado, let's jump straight into it. The Discovery Contest is a contest, a pitch battle live between 3 contestants. These contestants has been found through a submission process where the NGDC board have selected 3. Now they are entering a contest here divided into 4 rules, and I'm just gonna go through them quickly. Round number 1, it's meet the contestants and where they show us the game. When they show us the game, they have 30 seconds afterwards to explain a little bit about what we just saw there. And after that round, we will look at our dear judges, which I will come to in a second, and they will choose who they thought did the best for this particular round. Then it's round two. This is where the judges really come into play, because here they are asking fierce question, grilling the contestants and make them squirrel with some really deep questions about, in the round two, about the game and the gameplay. Then we go to round three, which is basically the same, but this time the questions will be about the surroundings of the game, the price point, the business plan, all this stuff that some love, some, but it's still really important. And then we'll end up in round number four. I call it the final round. It took me a month to come up with that title, but here I am, the final round, because it's the last round, and that is where the contestants can try to sway the judges with a little piece of material and a little song or dance. Who knows what will happen? Then at the end, I will calculate all the numbers, and we'll see who will be the winner. And the winner will take one seat at the NGDC Grand Finals, happening next November at the NG21 Plus conference in Sweden, Malmö, Sweden, where they will battle it out against a number of other finalists. Now I've been ranting for a long time. I think it's time to hear some people that are a little bit more intelligent than I am. So let's go straight to it and meet the judges. So judge number one, that is what I'm going to call you, because that is what you are. Chris Wolf, can you please tell everybody who you are and what you're doing and why you're here?
Sure thing. Hi everyone, my name is Christopher Wolf. I'm the publishing director for a small little indie developer / publishing hybrid called Those Awesome Guys. We're based out of Bucharest, Romania. Nordic Game always has a stop at our local conference at DevPlay as well. And I'm super happy to join for the first time here as part of the Discovery Contest.
So happy to have you here, Chris, and I'm thrilled that we have Romania represented in the judge panel of many reasons, but one of them is that actually for the NGDC season 3, a Romanian game won the whole contest, namely Yaga, made by Breadcrumb Studios. Now, have you played that game?
I have. It's a beautiful experience.
I agree. And it's a bit of a testament to why you should enter a contest like the Discovery Contest for a developer, because Yaga was doing great and has a wonderful game, but making it to the finals and winning the whole thing really opened some doors, and they got a publisher contract with Versus Evil, and now they are on many platforms, Steam and Apple Arcade and so forth. So I love that story. So nothing to do with you, Chris, but it's nice to have you here anyway. Now let's say hello to judge number 2. This is Vic, an old friend of mine actually. Hey Vic, how are you doing, man?
Hi Jacob, thanks for the intro. So I am Vic Bassi. I am business developer at Stockholm-based indie developer Roll Fury. Along with that, I also work as the founder and an editor of Games Industry Africa, as well as a contributor to GamesIndustry.biz. I'm really excited to be here, really excited to see the caliber of games on show, and obviously to work with Africa Games Week, which is a showpiece event.
So very nice to have you here, Vic, and thanks for the introduction. I'm so happy that you are now with Raw Fury, another one of my favorite publishers. Can you, if you should name your favorite Raw Fury game, what is that then?
Good grief, that is such a difficult question. I think I will have to pick the one I have plowed a lot of hours into over the last few months, a recent release called Star Renegades. Did really, really well for us. Traditionally, roguelite games aren't my favorite, but it was really easy to get absorbed into that world. Really cool, and the easy pick up and play replayability of it was excellent. So if you haven't already played it, Star Renegades is the game for you.
Thank you, Vic. Yeah, well, I haven't had time to play it because I was creating the Nordic Game Conference, but actually I was very close of having one of the developers to give us a talk about the game, which they declined in the last minute and made my life a hell. But that's another story. Let's not go there. Instead, let's go straight to judge number 3. It's also a great friend of mine, Mika Luttuo from Exola. Hey, Mika, how are you doing, man?
Hey, Jacob. Good to see you again. You need to practice pronouncing my last name, though. Luotio. But the first name, you got it. Yeah. Finnish names. Regardless, great to see you. Great to be here again. Honored. So I'm Mika Luotio. I'm from Exola. I work in the business development based in Berlin right now. And those who don't know, Exola is a video game business engine.
Thank you very much for that intro. And Exola is, as you may know, a dear partner of us at Nordic Game, and especially at the Nordic Game Discovery Contest, where we really love the support that we're getting. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to actually do this contest. So thanks a lot to Exola, and not so much you, Mika. You just started, so you don't count.
I still love you.
So just a quick question, Mika, because I know I've asked you this before, so now you are prepared. What is your all-time favorite mobile game? Because you are so much into the mobile sphere, right?
Yeah, I think I said last time Clash of Clans, but actually just for a week, I played Star Renegades. By the way, I'm a huge fan of roguelike games, so that's actually one of the recent highlights. That if you'd ask me any game, I know that's not on mobile, I think, but I've been playing it to death recently, and it's a splendid game.
Thanks for that answer, and I must get to play that game then. But for now, we've met all the judges. I'm really excited to see which game you think will do best here in this qualifier of the contest. So now we are at the part where it's going to be really exciting, because we are going to meet the judges. We're going to meet the contestants, obviously, and we're going to start with contestant number 1. This is Design Imps from South Africa with a game called The Endless Weird. Now we're going to start with taking a little look at the studio behind the game. So let's go.
Hi there, I'm Janko, game designer and director for Design Imps. Welcome to our little office in the weird. With COVID-19, we decided to go to a safer place. So over here, there are only monsters, no germs. So let me introduce you to our team. First up, we have Ilana. She does the art direction and the social media stuff I don't quite understand. Next is our partner from Chosen Interactive, Jeremy. He does all the programming. Then we have our wonderful artist and musician, Willem. And lastly, but definitely we are next, our office dogs. Well, that's all the time I have. So come visit us in the weird anytime and stay sane.
So that was a little look at Design Imps. Janke, you are representing Design Imps here. If you should describe your studio with just one single word, what would that word be?
I'd say hungry.
Hungry?
Yeah.
All right.
No, not just because we're poor. I mean, we're hungry to win. Yeah.
Hungry for victory.
Hungry for victory, yeah.
I love the spirit. Thanks a lot. I'm going to put that word into my big calculation machinery I got here for calculating all the points and the stuff that you say and the judges and the votes. You might think it's an easy job, but it's not, I tell you. But hungry is a good word to start with. So I'm going to get back to you in a second to see your game. But first, we're going to meet contestant number 2. This is Dreambox from Zimbabwe with a game title called Soli and the World of Tomorrow. And we are also gonna take a sneak peek behind the scenes here. So let's do it.
Hi, my name is Ronnie Masanga, the creative director and founder of Dreambox Studio, the makers of Soli and the World of Tomorrow. Let's jump inside the studio and say hi to the team. On the real though, judges, please help us by voting for our game so that we can get it out to more people who have been affected psychologically by COVID-19.
Thank you so much for that. That was touching behind the scenes, really. video. Rodney, nice to meet you. Can you please explain or give me one word that describes your studio?
Winners.
Oh, winners. It seems like you have, you know what my algorithm is about. That is a good start there. All right, I'm gonna get back to you as well when we have to, when we're gonna take a look at your game. But first we need to, and this is going to be interesting because the connection here might be a little edgy. So let's see if we have Kennedy through from Sana Wavelab Media. It's from Kenya and the game called Sawadi Games. Let's start with taking a look at the behind the scenes video.
Hello there. AfroSim. Think of it as an African GTA. I've been working on it for about 5 years now. It's almost done. Personally, I'm based in Mombasa, Kenya. My name is Kennedy Kimeu, and I'm a solo game developer.
Thank you so much for that. Kennedy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know if you can see me or hear me.
You're coming through loud and clear. It's actually, I'm very happy to see that, because now I was a little bit nervous that we couldn't get through to you, but this is awesome. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, I had to look for some light somewhere because we don't have power in the house. Something strange happened today.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's a challenge. I know. But let's get on with it. If you should describe your studio with one single word, what would that word be?
Afro simulator.
Afro simulator.
It's usually one word. Yeah, it's just simulating Africa.
Yes.
Yes.
If what? I have put your word, if it really is a word, into the machine, and now let's see how that will go on. Now it's actually time. Thank you so much, Kennedy. You are, by the way, contestant number 3. So when you hear me saying contestant number 3, you know you're on the spot. All right.
All right.
Good. So let's move on, and now we are going to take a look at the games that are actually up here, the 3 games that are competing against each other. We will see a game trailer from contestant number 1, and afterwards he has 30 seconds to explain about what we just saw, and then it's contestant 2 and 3, obviously. So let's get it on. First, contestant number 1. Here is the game trailer. Thank you so much for that. And now you have 30 seconds to tell the judges about your game. Are you ready? Yeah.
I start.
Okay. And you start now, please.
Now, okay. So this is the Endless Weird. This is a strategic roguelite with a dice-based deck building. So it's based in the 1900s in a dark comedy Alice in Wonderland kind of world. So you are trapped in the rabbit hole of the weird, being chased by what we call the thing of the dark, is an ancient one chasing you, and you have to scavenge the weird for items to help you escape. And so in the Endless Weird, the only way back up is down. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. That was right on the money in terms of the 30 seconds, which I not really like because I love interrupting people. But you did great here. And now let's move on to contestant number 2 and take a look at Solly and the gameplay here. Here we go. Oh, and there it went. So contestant number 2, are you there and ready to explain what we just saw? You have 30 seconds from now.
Okay, so basically, Claudia, the world of tomorrow, you are living the game through the mind of a 7-year-old girl who's just recently lost her parents to the coronavirus. So what you're doing is you're going through all the emotions, and the stage which was featured there is sadness. So you're going to go through sadness, frustration, worry, depression, and you're going to work through all those emotions as you defeat the monsters in your head, basically. So once she's through the first stage, she'll face the sadness monster, then go on to the frustration monster, worry, depression. So in a way, it's also like a bit of psychotherapy, but whilst you're kicking ass in a 2D platformer.
And time's up. Thank you so much for that description. And now we move on to contestant number 3, showing the gameplay video. Here we go. Thank you for that. And contestant number 3, are you ready to tell us what we just saw there? You have 30 seconds starting now.
Yeah, I've seen so many games are being played around in the internet, and most of them, especially things like GTA, Euro Truck, shooting games, all sorts of games. But it has been so hard to find any game that resembles Africa. So I thought maybe why not have something that you can play and be familiar with. If it is tracking, let's see African roads. If it is GTA, let's have it in an African way. So I thought, why not create something African?
Thank you. Yes. Time is up. Thank you. I have to stop you here. 30 seconds. Okay. That's how tough I am. And that actually concludes round number 1. Now we are at the first heart attack level, and that is where the judges give us the first votes. Now it's going to be like this. I am going to say, judges, are you ready? Then you nod because you are. And then I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. Show us your game. And let's see how that plans out now. Are you ready, judges? Yes, you are. 3, 2, 1. Show us the game. I got the ones from, and then Vic, I cannot see that sign. Can you show me a thing? What it was? A contestant 1, 2, or 3? 1. Okay, thank you so much. That is carried into the machine, and I got the points there. So we don't need to hear this tune I otherwise played. I can play that a little bit later. It's one of my proudest achievements in my life so far. I can give you a little bit of a sneak peek. Listen. Yeah, it's great, right? I won't give you more because we're gonna hear that song again a little bit later. But now let's move on to round number 2. This is where the judges actually meet the contestants and ask them each one question about the gameplay. So let's just hit it on with contestant number 1. And Chris, as you are judge 1, you will start. Please ask your question now.
Perfect. So in 2020, as you know, it's quite competitive in the world of roguelikes. What design decisions did you factor in when creating the Endless Wired, besides, and here's the tricky one, the integration of dice?
Okay, yeah, obviously dice was the big one. So we basically, as you can see there, movement was a big one. We had, if you compare to other ones, we have what's we call interactive environments. So in a combat situation like the one that you just saw there, you have combats that require you to interact with the environment in a specific way, not just know your deck, not just build your deck in a pre-constructed way, but you have to understand the mechanics of the fight as well by using environmental assets.
And time is up. Thank you for that. Now on to judge number 2. Vic, please ask your question.
Hi, Chris. It's intriguing. Christopher asked one of the questions I had for you. So here's my other. A lot of roguelites tend to be immensely dense when it comes to the amount of content in it. Just how much content can one expect to have in a game of this size, especially since you and your team seems to be going for a $15 price point?
Yeah, and it depends on your point of view. Unfortunately, we have a lot of content. So we have a lot of, because if you look at the items, a die has abilities on each side. So you're looking at one, where normally you would have one card, you now have 3 cards in essence. So just based on the items, you have a whole bunch of items. We're looking at 80 plus per character, artifacts, consumables, things like that. We try to cut that on enemies by making enemies, and maybe start later because I think my 30 seconds is almost done.
Thank you. That's time is up. Thank you for that answer. As much as you could hear of it, I hope it
was I breaking up
the last sentence as well. No, you were just caught a little bit in the end. But I guess judges that you heard what you wanted to hear, right? Not what you wanted to hear, but what was actually said. Yeah, good. All right. Thank you for that. And then Mika, for your question.
Yes. Hey, nice to meet you. My question would be like, if you could briefly describe the kind of progression, meta progression mechanics in the game.
Yes, yeah. Certainly. So we basically, our progression system is linked to what we call essence. So the idea of this is you're being chased by this monster endlessly. It catches up to you every time. And it drains your essence, the power that you gained through fighting. And that kind of is a kind of white liquid that drips down this rabbit hole of the weird. And it gets caught into this kind of a still. And then the player basically gets to choose their essences for the next run. So the more you play, you unlock new abilities that you can take with you. The more you take, there's consequences like sanity loss and things like that. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Time's up. That concludes it for contestant number 1. And now we are moving on to contestant number 2. Chris, you are up again with your question. Please go ahead.
All right. Depression obviously is a tough topic to talk about, to pack into an interactive experience. How do you ensure during development that you are approaching a topic with the necessary sensitivity?
Well, the good thing is that's my actual qualification. I'm a psychologist by profession and who got into game development. And for this actual game, I actually went and took another course with the University of Reading, which is actually targeted at COVID therapy. So that's what I inputted into the game, and that's the foundation of it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer. And on to judge number 2. Vic, your question, please.
Thank you. Mine is almost on a similar vein, and I will focus more on the presentation of the game. The music and themes obviously evoke melancholy, and I was wondering how you came about the decision to create a platformer for what is essentially kind of a weighty subject when we talk about COVID.
One thing I saw is the people around me, mostly creatives as well, were going through all these emotional things. And with it being COVID, everybody was in a mellow mood. And a lot of people have got pent up frustration, anger, and everything. So by putting it into a 2D platform, it's something simple where people can actually let out their frustration and channel it out. And in between each stage of frustration, depression, and everything, there's a sort of a therapy where if you saw the little floating friend Fari, you talk to her and then she helps you through all those emotions you're going through to each stage.
Time's up. Thank you for that one. And then last question from Mika, please.
Hey, my question is more into kind of like control mechanics when it comes to a platformer. So just wanted to kind of understand what sort of unique mechanics, platformer mechanics, have you planned into the game?
I'll be honest, it's not a very technical game because the emphasis was supposed to be on the actual therapy aspect of the game to help people. So what we did is we used the Unity engine, and we also used a plugin called Mill Mountains. So that's just helps us with the gameplay aspect of it and the monsters and all that stuff.
Thank you so much. That concludes it for contestant number 2. Let's move on to contestant number 3. Chris, are you ready to ask your question here? Please go ahead.
Of course. All right. So I'll talk a little bit or focus a little bit more on the genre in this case. There's obviously lots of simulation games out there. It's a competitive genre to stand out from. What makes your approach stand out to players? Do you have any specific game design approaches that you consider while making the game?
Yeah, I missed the first part of the meeting. I'm actually in a public place, yeah. Mm-hmm. Can you repeat the first part of the meeting, please? The question, please.
Of course. So obviously, if you take a look at the marketplace, there's a lot of simulation games. It's a competitive genre. What kind of design decisions did you factor in to stand out within the market?
Yeah, actually, it's not really much, but my focus was just for Africa. We have so much out there that is for other, many simulators for other places of the world. ETS can simulate Asia, it can simulate America, it can simulate Europe, but we have nothing for Africa. I would love to see a truck driver driving from Cairo to South Africa, or from Mombasa in my town to Gambia. We need to see how Africa looks like in those simulators.
Thank you for that answer, Kennedy. And now we're moving on to judge number 2, and Vic, and your question, please go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Kennedy. My question is also very similar in terms of that. You initially mentioned a game with a lot of different features, you know, GTA, amongst other things, as well as simulation. What key gameplay aspect of your game would you say is its major selling point?
I would say driving. I'm not so much into shooting, but I think the thing which I saw being in a lot of demand in the gaming, in the simulating world, is them having to be able to experience Africa. For example, we have Safari Rally, which is one of the best rally racing games, but they cannot experience Safari Rally or Africa. So I thought maybe I should focus on racing, but I have a little bit of shooting here and there and role playing. So the idea is to measure on racing and road and vehicles, but also to have a little bit of GTA kind of stuff, getting out, doing some farming, getting some food, and such kind of stuff.
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna cut you off here, Kennedy. That was time is out. Thank you for that answer. And now to the last question for this round is from Mika. Please go ahead.
Hey, actually a pretty simple question, but looking for hopefully a complex answer, and be educated as well culturally here a little bit. What do you think makes your game? What are the aspects that make it African, as you say, like as a kind of GTA for Africa? And I was just curious, what are the kind of aspects that make it very African for you?
Yeah, it's just mainly environmental. You get to see Mount Kilimanjaro, you get to see the Congo, you get to see really dense forests, You get to ride on really, really muddy African roads. You get to see the cars that you see in Africa. You know, the Toyotas, just the trucks you see around. It's a way which I noticed. It's mainly environmental, and also maybe the kind of the people you see, the villages, second of stuff that will make you feel okay. It's a way of opening up Africa into the simulation world. There's a huge community.
I have to stop you. Time is up. Thank you so much for that answer. And that leaves us to the end of round 2, and that is where the judges come into play. Now, I warned you a little bit before about the tune that I'm going to play, but before I do that again, I need the judges to vote. Who did best in this round 2 when you ask questions about the gameplay? Now, are you ready, judges? 3, 2, 1. Show us the game. Ooh, exciting! And yeah, thank you. I've seen it, and I am writing it into the big algorithm. Maybe I should play a little bit more of the music then. Yeah, that's enough for now. That's enough for now. I won't make you addicted to it yet. Instead, I will just say, wow, we've come to the first half of the contest. I hope contestants that you are feeling good and that you can keep your blood pressure down. I know that my heart is beating on the outside of my shirt. I know it's not visible, but I am sure to tell you that I am as nervous as you are. So I need to chill a little bit down, and doing that is, how can you chill more down than taking a look at your dear partner's great videos? So let's start with taking a little bit of a sneak peek at what Xsola really does. Here we go.
Imeshamaliza.
Thank you so much, Xsola. Again, Xsola will provide the winner and the grand finalist of the Nordic Game Discovery Contest with some great prizes, as will a lot of the other dearest partners and sponsors who are making the Discovery Contest possible. I have one video more to show. It's from another of our great partners, Versus Evil. Versus Evil, their prize for the grand finals that just was that they did a whole day mentor sessioning with all the 16 finalists that we had for the previous session. So I think it's time to watch their video too. Yeah, thank you so much, Versus Evil, as well, for your support for the contest. And now it's almost time to move on. Just wanted to say that obviously those are 2 examples of the partners and sponsors of the contest for season 4. I have been so busy concluding the season that I didn't have time to actually set the whole thing up for season 5. I just jumped from Sweden back to Denmark to host this in South Africa, which I'm so happy that we can kick it off. But just to let you know, contestants, that there will be much more in store for you in terms of prizes, should you be brave and good enough to fight your way all through the grand finals at NG21 next year. And just like before we continue with round 3, just a little bit of trip down memory lane, because here you see from the grand finals of season 3, it's QCF Design of South Africa, Danny on stage in Slagthuset in Malmö, Sweden, fighting it out presenting his game. He's pitching it right there to the host of judges, and eventually he came away with the whole victory. He actually won NGDC season 3. So big ups to him. And I just wanted to show you this great photo so we could cry a little bit together of how we all miss each other sitting there in the audience, me standing on the stage being a smartass while other people are working their butts off in the contest. So yeah, hopefully we can do that again come next November, where hopefully we are safe to travel and meet each other again. From my point of view, I cannot wait. So with that said, now it's time to get the blood pressure up again, because here we go. This is round 3. We are doing it the same style that as just we did before with round 2, but this time the questions are a little bit different. It's about the reality surrounding the games. So let's kick it off with contestant number 1, with the first question coming from judge number 1, Chris. Please go ahead.
All right, so I took a little bit of a look at your studio, and I'm curious, which field have you as a team most advanced in since your last release in 2018?
I think we had big strides in art, and both art and programming. I think we have made big strides, because if you've looked at our previous title was more of a text-based game. It basically reflected our level of skill at that stage. So this is actually, for us, this is quite a big jump in our level of skill since our last one, if that answers your question.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And on to a question from Vic, please go ahead.
Thank you. Considering the legacy South African games have or have had in recent years, you have the likes of, Free Lives and what have you. How much insight or advice have you sought from those studios to gauge and better understand how best to tackle the international market?
With that, not so much. So with us, we've been to a local organization called Make Games SA. So we've been to meetings there. So we speak to more our kind of people, the people still trying to make it. So we haven't addressed anyone that's already made great games. So yeah, sorry, that's.
Thank you so much for that answer. Yeah. And on to Mika, question from you. Here you go.
Yeah, my question is about feature creeps and sacrifices you've had to make. So oftentimes any good game has to make some sacrifices. So what are the hardest sacrifices you've had to make with your team due to whatever reasons, production, time, etc., budget?
So if you look at the current demo, we had to cut a whole bunch of features that we couldn't get into the current demo. So we were quite disappointed at what we had there, but also surprised at the features that we did have there. Actually, it was fun. It was in our mind, it was the worst features, and it was still fun. So we're looking forward to adding in the other features. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. That concludes it for contestant number 1. Then let's move on to contestant number 2. Chris, please go ahead with your question.
All right, so this is considering your business model. Considering that you're looking at selling additional chapters of content to your audience, basically by a single purchase, how did you come up with that approach, and based on which decision?
Basically, our first goal with this game was to help people. So as you play through the game, obviously there's a freemium model involved in it. And with the people who can afford to actually buy chapters and everything, they have the option of actually consulting actual help and psychotherapists, because we're going to implement a directory into the system as well, where they can get local help as well in terms of psychotherapy. So in terms of our pricing model, it was mostly freemium. And then as you want more help, or as you want to advance with certain emotional aspects, that's when you pay a nominal fee to actually advance through the game as well.
Thank you. Time is up. Time for next question now from Vic, please.
Hi, Rodney. Very, very quick question. How do you plan to overcome both the cultural perceptions of video game locally, as well as the perception of an issue like COVID locally, to get people excited about being uplifted by this game?
One of the key things we're still yet to implement is the language barriers. And in terms of Zimbabwe, we'd already spoken to like health ministries and also NGOs to also help push it forward so that more people have access to it. But the biggest key factor for us is having it available in as many local languages as possible across Africa.
Thank you so much for that answer. And then for the third question, please go ahead, Mika.
My question is about escapism. So people usually play video games as a form of escapism, escaping reality oftentimes, not always the only reason. But what are the kind of factors that you're considering to provide people an escape during, for example, the raging pandemic that we have? What are the features that you feel that are strong for that?
One key thing we wanted to implement is the actual platform a bit. Wanted to make it crazy with a flow of monsters and everything to just rage out. Because one aspect that really touched me was the fact that a lot of people realize that they're actually alone and you don't have anybody to talk to. Sometimes you just want to cry, sometimes you're angry and you've got no access to anyone. So through this game, what I wanted to get across is, okay, you're going to go through therapy, which is through the conversation system. And as you're going through that therapy, you can rage out, you can go on the platformer, you'll shoot those corona monsters and blast them to the 9th hell or something like that. So that's the form of escapism we're trying.
Thank you. Time is up. That concludes it for contestant number 3. And let's move on to contestant number 2, sorry. And now let's move on to contestant number 3. And the first question is from you, Chris. Oh, first of all, Kennedy, can you hear us here? Have we lost Kennedy again?
Hi, here we go.
Hello.
Hey, Kennedy. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Here comes the first question from Chris, please.
All right. So obviously you're looking at something very ambitious here, a very ambitious approach as a solo developer. How do you ensure that you're not taking on more that you can actually pull off at the end of the day?
Actually, my intention was more of a study than to finish the game. I wanted to see if a single person can be able to pull up a huge game, and the results are looking promising because I think I'm on the final stages, and the community has been great because the game has been out for like a year or two, and it has been the study is showing some fruits.
Thank you for this answer. Thank you, and on to Judge 2. Your question, please.
Hi, thank you. Kennedy, a lot has been spoken about the visuals and the sights, the more very personal aspect of experiencing life from the continent. But what about the sounds? I mean, how do you plan to work with integrating sounds that are a lot more local and familiar to the African landscape?
Yeah. Even this for the environment to be African, even it's not just the appearance but also the sound. So if you move into the rivers, you can feel the crickets, you can feel the water flowing in the rivers. If you move in the stages, you can see them yelling in an African way, the way Africans do in stages. So it makes you feel like, okay, I'm not in Europe, I'm not in America, but I'm in Africa. That is what the simulation community has been really looking for. And I'm trying to sustain that and provide that for them.
Thank you so much for that answer. And that concludes it. No, it does not, because we have one more question left, and that is for Mika. Please, Mika, go ahead.
Yeah, so my question would be, these type of sandbox games always consist of a lot of activities the players can do. What is the single most fun activity you can do in your game, in your opinion?
In my opinion, the single most fun activity is picking people, dropping them, making money, buying more parts of the vehicle, painting your vehicles, buying more powerful engines, and competing. It's all about, at the moment, it's all about driving and having the thrill of trucking, busing, and racing on African roads with the mud and the hardness of African roads.
Thank you so much. That was right on the money in terms of time as well. And now we are actually done with round number 3. Thank you, all of you. And now it's time for the judges to vote once again. Let us see the votes now. I'm going to count down. 3, 2, 1. Show us the game. Okay, and okay, thank you for that. Wow, it's really getting tense here. Now I need to play this tune a little bit longer for you. Now go ahead and listen to this while I step into my cellar and do a little bit of calculating. Yeah, that was enough. That was enough. I could see you starting rocking your heads. That is how it creeps in on you, this tune. And meanwhile, I actually had a time to do a little bit of calculations in this really complex algorithm that is the point system of the Nordic Game Discovery Contest. I'm not allowed to tell you every detail of it, just telling you that it's not for kids. It's something that you have to dive deep into, focus on before you can actually get the real results out. Now, what I can say is that this is turning into quite an exciting contest here. All the contestants have gotten points at some point in this, and now we're actually getting near to the big conclusion to find out who is winning. But before that, yes, you can see it here. It's time for round 4, the final round. This is where the contestants has one last chance to sway the judges. They have each sent me some material that they want to show, and we're going to see that. And afterwards, each contestant has 30 seconds to explain or to try to sway the judges even more. So let's take a look at contestant number 1 and the material you sent us. Here we go. Yes, and contestant number 1, you have 30 seconds from now to explain what was that about.
All right, cool. So that's what we call Pimp My Die. So basically, in the clip that you saw, you have an item called the Bloodstone Scythe. It has an ability that when you hit the target, it returns 1 copy of this die to your hand, and that copy costs 1 more and does 2 more damage. So what the player did beforehand was they added materials to the die that augments it. And in this case, what it did was it would trigger it twice and return AP, the cost of payment, each time. So basically, you get like a really stupid ability at the end of it. It's just stupidly overpowered. So for us, that is basically one of the take-home messages of the Endless Weird, is that Endless Weird is the quest for the stupidly overpowered.
Time's up. Thank you so much for that. And let's move on to contestant number 2. You have sent in this. And there you go. Can you please explain what we just saw there, starting now? Oh, remember to unmute.
Acceptance and commitment therapy. Knowing that at this stage right now, I'm breathing, I'm okay. And despite what's going on around me, I'm okay. So this is what Xoli's and the World of Tomorrow has its foundations in, knowing that everybody, you're okay. No matter if you're alone or you're crying or nobody's talking to you, that something in your pocket can make a difference through the game at any moment, at any time. And you can help your way through whatever emotion you're feeling.
Thank you so much for that. And then on to contestant number 3. You send us this. Now, Kennedy, can you hear us? Contestant number 3, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So Kennedy, we just saw the material you sent in for the final chance, and now you have 30 seconds to explain why you chose that to sway the judges. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it's all in the theme of being able to see Africa and hear Africa. If you heard the sound around that video, you just hear the sounds that you commonly hear in city streets in Nairobi. And I would love to see that in children who are playing games today. Just streets of Africa, activity that happens in African roads.
Thank you so much for that. That concludes it for the last and final round. Now we are here where we are looking at the last voting from the judges. Now I am going to give you a little bit of a taster again of my composition while you make up your mind. Who did best in this 4th round? Try to think about it while you hear this great song. Oh yeah. It just, the gift that keeps on giving. Are you ready, judges, to show us the points? Please show us the points. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Oh, and there. Oh, yes. Okay, I see it. I see it. Okay. Oh, wow. This is great. Thank you, judges. Now I need to calculate a lot. And you thought that oh no, now he's going to play that song again. No, because I have another tune made especially for the last point giving. So let me calculate while you enjoy this. That is how fantastic the music, the tension, the machine is. I am actually ready now to announce the winner of the first qualifier of the Nordic Game Discovery Contest at Africa Games Week. And the winner is The Endless Weird. Yay! And I have What do you say? Big congratulations to
Thank you guys. Thanks everyone.
You have definitely deserved the win. It was a close call, but you did good, and you have earned a seat in the grand finals at NG21 in almost a year. So big congrats to you.
I'll start walking. That's fine. I'll get
there. Thank you so much to the other contestants. You did a great job. It was great having you here. A big thank you to the judges. You were also good at the grill. I loved your questions. They were sharp and good. Keep it up. And to the audience, thank you so much for watching. And to Rex and the team behind Africa Games Week, Great job. I am supporting you from here, from the Nordics. As always, I would love to be with you. I think it had to wait a little bit, but I will be back. So with these words, thank you so much, everyone. And we are over and out. Bye-bye.
Thank you.